Okay, good afternoon. It's Bill. It's me, Bill Bushka here in Falls Church, Virginia, and we dodged a bullet on a tropical storm this morning. Didn't have many problems. Spent the morning watching it and everything, but now it's back to work. And I want to talk this afternoon about a very important aspect of the coronavirus situation, which is really knowing where it came from. I have a blog post centered around an article that I found in Medium by Yuri Daigan, who seems to be a Russian researcher. It's a very long booklet-like article on Medium. It's probably about 60 pages if you read it as a book. It would take about an hour to read in detail, which I'm going to give you the link to below. And he refers to a variety of derivations of the virus, but one of them Chris Martenson pointed out in a video of his on Peak Prosperity, I think it was on May the 4th, about an insert of a codon quadruple called PRRA. A codon is a set of instructions from RNA to assemble proteins. It's kind of like a computer language. And although the mutations among the various animal versions of the viruses, the bat viruses and various ones that have existed in the labs and so forth, can be traced, the insertion of this extra sequence that enables the spike protein to open up an ACE2 receptor, the furin inside, and it makes it much more transmissible as a virus. It makes it kind of like a Goldilocks virus that, doesn't seem to harm a lot of people, but then it spreads so rapidly that the people it does harm still fill up the hospitals, and many of them are still left with lifelong disabilities and all of that. So it's a very serious thing, as we all know what the basic paradigm is. Well, the article before goes through all kinds of derivations earlier about the genealogy of the virus with different gain of function experiments and with different animals and so forth. And the one thing that stands out is this extra sequence. So if you combine that with several other reports, for example, Bloomberg, there was a report that in Bloomberg that in July in Bloomberg, which was picked up by a lot of other news services, there was a report that in 2013 a virus had sampled that is just about the same as the SARS-CoV-2 had been sent to Wuhan from a copper mine in southwestern China. A few people died, but there was no outbreak there. But as we know, the outbreak appears to have started around Wuhan or in the Hubei province in the fall of 2019. Some people say November. Some people say it may have been earlier. There were reports of a communications blackout in Wuhan at the Wuhan Virology Institute in early October, around October 6th, that several news outlets confirm. This is the Daily Mail, but the NBC has confirmed it and so forth, or has reported it. ABC News reported some instances where the parking lots around some hospitals in Wuhan were unusually full in the fall, particularly late October of 2019. So that's very interesting. And people have even looked at the search engines on Baidu, is that the search engine, and have figured out there was unusual activity with regard to with pneumonias and serious respiratory diseases in the latter part of 2019. There are also a lot of reports that China has falsified its figures and has many more cases or that may have many more cases than we think it admits to. For example, its foreign policy has such a report, but Time magazine in mid-July offered a genealogy chart in an article in the last part of the article, but it sticks to the theory that the virus came from animals, from bats, possibly a pangolin, and that the mutations of the virus, as bizarre as they seem and as improbable as they seem to some people, when you look at the actual genealogy, still are natural and still are basically a quantum fluke that we kind of have been invited by our lifestyles, flying, with the cheap flying and with the mobility and the globalization, that eventually a virus would evolve, however improbably, that could take advantage of the way we're living. And that's another theory. But what I'm trying to get to is that, yes, this is very serious. We need to know where this virus came from. And that would help us find a treatment and a cure if we knew exactly what happened in China in the latter part of 2019. There's even a report, you may know, there's even a report that that's not the right article here. There's even a report that there were wastewater samples found around Europe, like around Barcelona, Spain, as early as March of 2019. Now, we would want to know exactly what the composition of that virus was, exactly what the genome was, and whether it had the PRRA sequence in it. And, if we have all the pieces and we put them together and we know exactly where each virus was and when it was found and where it came from, and then which initial patients were infected with exactly which virus in China or anywhere else. If we had all that information and we put it all together in one place, I think we could figure out where this virus came from. But no one seems to have done that. So I just wanted to lay out some of this so that to try to stimulate people into trying to figure this out. I'll put all the links in the description of this video, and I'll put up a blog post to help you get to my video and so forth today. But that's just a very important thing I wanted to say today. Thanks a lot.